Okay, this is part 2. A thermostat I forgot to do not disturb. A thermostat manufacturer had been sued because they put a microphone in their thermostat. Okay? And I was talking to them, and I was telling them how crazy it was. I hear Alex Jones talk about this stuff all the time, and I take it with a grain of salt. Alex Jones was talking about it 20 years ago, and he was talking about it with VHS players. But he actually brought a VHS player on his show, took it apart, and held the camera up to the up to the camera for the viewers, right? And he had a former engineer from the manufacturer of the VHS player there telling people that, yes, that is a microphone. Because how are you going to know? It's a little piece of wire. Okay, but anyway, so this stuff has been around forever, apparently. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just telling you what Alex Jones said, and now I'm telling you what these people at this thing. And at this point in time, I believe it, because why not? These people are saying that if you take apart an electronic device to look for the microphone, you will never find it. That's how tiny they are. They're like 1/10 of a human hair. I mean, they're like ridiculously tiny. So they said you'll never find it. So and they said it like matter of factly, like it's not even a debate. You'll just never find it. So this is where we are. This is the successive approximation of things, of everything. Okay, and you could take this all the way back to Edison and Tesla with his free energy, and you could say that the wires that we receive our electricity on were the first approximation. Because if we had pursued the Tesla view of energy, theoretically, we could all have a little box on the top of our roof that just pulls energy out of the stratosphere. Unlimited free energy, like air or water, and we wouldn't even need these stupid wires. But see, it could be argued that these wires, all of this infrastructure, has nothing to do with energy. Okay, energy is just the facade. It's just the cloak. Okay, the real thing is wiring, getting us all wired in. But like I said, having a power line to your house doesn't wire you in literally, but it's the first approximation to wiring to the NeuraLink. It's not the final approximation. The NeuraLink that Elon Musk is talking about, is just another approximation. Like I said, the final approximation is literally the Matrix, when we're just a battery that provides energy for the machine society. That's the final approximation, theoretically. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying it's plausible. I mean, when we first saw the Matrix, it was like, wow, that's really cool, philosophical, that's really amazing philosophical, what's the word? Symbolism, right? Oh, man, yeah, that's, like we're all, they're like energy vampires, and they're like controlling us psychologically. It's like, well, that's the way we thought, because we thought, and at that time, like 20 years ago, whenever it came out, it's like, it's absurd. It was absurd to think that we could ever literally be batteries with a cable stuck in our back to provide energy for a machine culture. That's crazy, right? Nobody, even the most, progressive, abstract, dreamy type of science fiction guru, ever even consider the possibility that it could be literally true. But now it's like fait accompli. It's like, of course it could be true. Of course. Totally. It probably is already true in some deep underground military base. It probably is true in some secret laboratory 100 miles out in the middle of the woods, and there's like 12 perimeters of security that you have to pass through to get to it. It probably is. There are probably some experiments going on with it right now. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying, theoretically, it probably is. How about something that's attached to your body and it transmits energy wirelessly? So you walk around and you have all of your freedom, and but you're nevertheless, you're a source of energy, and how much energy you want to provide, is up to you, and you get some kind of privilege, some kind of benefit, some payment, or whatever. I don't know. Anything's possible. All right. You listen. the whole energy perspective of the human physiology is all but completely ignored by Western science. And that could be said to be an approximation also. I mean, it's all about chemistry and biology, but it's undeniable that we are a biochemical electrical machine. I mean, we have electrical properties. That's why we need minerals to make our parts conductive of energy, of electricity, so that energy could travel from our brain to our arm or whatever to make something happen, right? I mean, we're biochemical electrical machines, but the electrical energy part of it is completely ignored. It's like a blackout, right? It's all the Eastern people talk about. But in the West, I don't know. It could be another approximation. Who knows? Okay, let me wrap it up because it's getting long. The social credit score. The social credit score, okay, is an approximation. Because, like I said, they've recorded every word, every phrase. Pretty soon they're going to have every thought, every feeling, every, whatever. And they're going to sell it like, we're going to know if you're having some kind of medical emergency and medical services will be dispatched without anyone needing to call. They're going to sell it like that, right? That's the way they are. We're here. We're from the government and we're here to help you. We're only inserting this device inside your body because it will be good for you. This Amazon Alexa, we only want you to buy it because it's so convenient. It will give you so many benefits. Like, what does it really do for me? It does nothing for me. For me, I mean, people like it. I get they like it, but it's like, I can take it or leave it. I don't care. This smart TV, okay, smart TV's fine, whatever. It's cool. But, it's the way they do it, right? All right, so, and everything's an approximation. All right, so, the social credit score interfaces with all of this because, like I said, they can go through the database of every word that you've spoken, and soon they'll be able to go through a database of everything that you've ever thought with some degree of accuracy. It's not going to be 100%. It might start out as like 20%, but they'll perfect it. It'll get better and better over time. And eventually they'll convince themselves that it's 100% accurate. It'll never be 100% accurate, but they will make policy as if it is, and that will be their downfall because that's always their downfall. Is they start out megalomaniacal, and then as they exercise their megalomania just becomes more and more and more megalomania until it turns into true, real, undeniable insanity, right? And that's their downfall. They have a heightened view of their own power. But anyway, so like I said, they got a database. They can just create a score based on that database. Okay? I mean, I'm very politically incorrect. I'll probably have like a low score, or that's the thing, right? People on me, Alex Jones, don't censor me, right? We are all like Alex Jones. That's what my shirt says. People like us, the reason it's bad for people like us is because we don't want to shut the world down. We don't want to shut down dissent. We don't want to shut down people that disagree. People like me, that's not part of our DNA. That's not part of our ideological DNA. That's just not the way. But on the left, that's like the central feature of their ideological DNA. They want to shut down everybody that doesn't agree with them, right? Because they're insane. Their ideology is completely insane, right? So they can't win any debates. So their only option is to shut debate down, right? And then they all go around agreeing with each other, and they all tell each other how smart they are. And now they all think that they're brilliant because everybody tells them they're smart because that's also part of their DNA to form back rubbing circles. They just rub each other's backs all day long, and they think that, number one, they're benevolent because they're rubbing somebody's back, and number two, they're good because somebody's rubbing their back, and they think everything's all good. And it's like it's just a giant scam, right? It's like that academic peer review ring that got busted, and probably corrupt peer review rings are the norm, and that is where like 5 guys get together and they plot and they scheme to endorse each other's work because it will benefit all of their careers for that. And so now everything they do is peer reviewed, and it's peer reviewed by the people that they colluded with to have positive reviews. So anyway. And if you're not in that field of study, what are you going to say? You don't know anything about it. You might be a PhD, but you're not a PhD in their field of study. So you can't challenge them. One PhD isn't going to challenge another PhD, especially if this PhD that needs to be challenged is peer reviewed and is endorsed by 3 other PhDs, right? Because when this PhD challenges this PhD, these 3 PhDs over here, now this PhD, he just put his career on the chopping block because he knows it's just a matter of time before somebody's going to say he's a troublemaker. He just likes to knock everybody down, and there's people they're going to gang up on him and knock him down. So it just becomes this giant incestuous, it just becomes like an incest orgy, basically, of fake endorsement, right? And of lies and falsehood. So anyway, the social credit score is going to be based on all this data that they have. And so now, what can they do with it? They can do anything they want. A gallon of milk costs, me $8. You have a better score than me, so it only costs you $3. Hey, I'm subsidizing your quality of life. I'm being penalized because I don't follow the rules, and it's numerically tracked, right? But think about this. This is what I was thinking about today. I have a low score, therefore I cannot upload videos. I can only make one post a day. You can make 20 posts a day, or maybe I can't make any post. Maybe I can make as many posts as I want, but my posts are reviewed before they're released to the public. Or they could already be doing this to me, to you, to anybody. We make our post, but then once 50 people see our post, that's it. Nobody else sees our post, Or maybe the only people who see our post are the people we are already friends with, but no new people ever see anything that we do, right? So we slowly over time become irrelevant, unknown, obsolete. Slowly we get relegated to the trash bin of the internet, right? So successive approximation. When did it start? Like I said, did it start with the power lines, as opposed to the little box that pulls energy out of the stratosphere like Tesla said was possible? And I believe he demonstrated that it is possible, transmitting electricity wirelessly, transmitting electricity through the ground, and God only knows. Now there's a guy named Eric P. Dollard. I love this guy, man. Talk about a bromance. You got to look up Eric P. Dollard sometime. I got a serious bromance with this guy. I mean, I love this guy. I almost worship this guy. He is referred to as the Tesla of our age. He has duplicated Tesla's machines. He gets to a point where he has it working, duplicated. Guys in dark suits come with baseball bats, break it, pour salt all over it. And it cost him $500,000 to build it. And he had to work his butt off to get to raise the funding for it. So he says he just has to start over from ground zero. He says I'm always down when they come and do that. I'm always out of business for 2 or 3 years. So he just spends 2 or 3 years going back to the mathematics. He goes back to the theory of electricity. And then when he comes back and he rebuilds everything, it's 5 times better than the thing that they destroyed, right? So he puts a positive spin. That's one of the reasons I love this guy, is because whoever these people are, God only knows, they come and they wreck his work, and then somehow Eric P. Dollard figured out a way to make this work for him. He just doesn't care. He's just like, whatever. I'll just go back. Some of the stuff that I did on that wasn't exactly right anyway. I'll go back and figure out what I can do better, and I'll start over. And he's okay with that. He doesn't even care who they are. He knows they're coming. He doesn't care. Yeah, go ahead, wreck it all. I'll be back in 3 years. I'll start again. To me, that's just amazing. I love that attitude. So he says, if you want to try to figure out who they are, you're more than welcome to. I don't really care. It's not anything I'm concerned about. But if you want to be concerned about it, go ahead. I mean, he's just such an amazing attitude. But Eric Dollard says that the electricity we're using today on the level of theory is the same as what Edison was using, because they don't want it. They don't want advancement, right? They've got us wired in, right? They don't want us going off the reservation, so to speak. They don't want us to be free. They want us to be slaves, right? I mean, imagine if you paid $400 for a machine that goes on your roof, and that's all you ever had to do, except maybe every 5 years you had to do some maintenance on it. I mean, just imagine, that's it. You know? I mean, that would disrupt the entire energy. Power companies, oil, coal, nuclear. I mean, just think about the impact of that. You know, they call that disruptive technology. Disruptive technology means we want different people to be rich, and the current people that are rich are like, no, we don't want to stop being rich. But they're so rich it doesn't matter. It's like what it really is we don't want to lose our control. We don't want to lose our power. We don't want to lose our dominance. We don't want to lose our monopoly. Right? We don't care about the people. We only care about ourselves. That's what the phrase. The fact that the phrase disruptive technology even exists, it's a euphemism. They made it up to make it sound like something bad. But the fact that it even exists is just it's a evidence that there are people controlling things that don't want things to change, even if the change is good for the people, right? Because if it's good for us, there's a chance it might be bad for them, right? And wealthy people, in case you don't know, they don't like what's the word? They like whatever. They don't like insecurity. They don't like change. They like things to stay the same. I mean, if they're in control, they want to stay in control. You know, they don't even want to risk it, right? So, anyway, all right. So that's a successive approximation from being wired in to Edison's version of electricity versus Tesla's, to brain chips, to the matrix, the social credit score will interface into all of that and will control everybody. I mean, once the only people allowed to make posts on social media are the people who have good social credit scores, it's game over. It'll be just exactly the same as it was when we had 3 people giving us the news, or 3 channels, or 6 men owning 500 channels, and we're getting our news from whatever those 6 men say they want the news to be. It'll be exactly the same. You know, it's just the method of delivery will have changed. They're about 30 years. They had to allow it to work the way it works now in order for them to have something to control. See, that's the way they work. They allow industries, they allow innovation to build up, and then they come in after the fact at the top level and they take it over. So that's it. Successive approximation. It's something to look for. It's also part of the homosexual agenda. First it was the gays. Then it was the transgenders. Now they're doing transgender story time for children. Now they're teaching children about transgender. Now, almost simultaneous. See, the transgenders were about 30 years after the homosexual revolution, right? But the transgender to children thing, where they're giving children sex changes, and UN is talking about making it a human right where you can't deny a child a right to have their genitals cut off if they feel like they're, whatever, if they feel like they're a female trapped inside of a male's body, and when they're 5 years old or whatever, or vice versa, or the reverse of that. So all of that was a shorter period of time. It's like 5 years, maybe 10 years after the fact, right? So gays to transgender, 30 years. Transgender to transgender children, 10 years. But almost simultaneous, maybe 5 years since transgender, now it's transhuman, right? Soon it's going to be, if you, want a artificial arm, but there's nothing wrong with your arm, it's going to be a human right to get an artificial arm. So maybe the artificial arm is better, it's prettier, it's stronger, it's faster. I mean, who knows? Or some kind of brain thing, or, and then it's just going to be successive approximation from that point, where you have somebody who's 95% human, it's going to be 95% human, 85% human, 65% human, 55% human, 45% human, 30%. Then you're going to be majority machine, right? And only partial human. And a human can't say anything about something, a 100% human can't say something about somebody who's only 65% human, because that's racism, right? So then it's going to be, okay, let's just get rid of the humans. I mean, we don't need them, right? The machines are better, they're faster, they're smarter. That's the successive approximation, the elimination of the human race, with the exception of a superclass of elites, which they already have, by the way, but that's a completely different story. And this thing is really long. They already have a superclass. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, George Soros, the Clintons, the Bushes. They're part of the superclass, but anyway, they already have it. It's just, again, it's successively approximating. So if you can learn to keep success, be mindful of successive approximation, and just keep an eye on the trends. See, to me, the idea of successive approximation makes the idea of trends more poignant, more relatable, more conceivable, right? To me, trend is like, it's just kind of like a very vague, abstract, we have a trend here. It's like, well, okay, whatever. I mean, who knows? You just might be making it up. But if you say, look, successive approximation, you could sort of see that with first step was this, second step was this, second step was this step took a generation. The next step only took 10 years. This next step took 5 years. And you could sort of, it just makes it, to me, makes it more conceivable. I think it's an important concept. I think it's an important thing, helpful, not important. I think it's important and helpful thing to keep in mind. So anyway, I'm rambling. God bless you. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you liked it. And I hope I don't desire to be anything except a spark, I just want to light something on fire. I want to light things on fire for good, So I hope the sparks that I generated here land somewhere and start a fiery revolution of justice and peace and revelation and awareness and goodness. That's my hope. And then I'm just a spark, so I'm gone. I'm already gone. I'm just a spark. But may you continue on. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Bye.